Good morning, everyone. Richard and I are just getting ready to go on vacation, and as I always do, what is typical for me is I always make food for the car. We're going quite far, well, far enough that we'll be in the car all day. We're going to be in British Columbia, so that's a good 12, 13-hour drive. So I always make snacks in the car. It's way cheaper, tastes better, and all of that. And then we're coming home following week, and we're taking our grandsons away. So it's cheaper to have your snacks and treats and stuff homemade and tastes way better. So today I'm going to be making some date squares. We got some dates here. I don't really like the taste of dates by themselves. I thought I did, and ugh, I don't like them. But I do love date squares, so I thought that'd be a perfect treat. So the ingredients for this, you're going to need oatmeal, 1.5 cups, 1.5 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1 cup of brown sugar, and 3/4 of a cup of soft butter. That's the first part. Then you're going to need 3/4 pounds of dates, diced. So I'll dice those up, a cup of water, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. And in a pot, you're going to heat the dates with the water, brown sugar, and bring to a boil and cook until thick. So the brown sugar and the lemon juice. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up these dates and get them going. You're going to be cooking this in a 9-inch square pan. Because they've asked for 3/4 pound, I have a kitchen scale. I think I got it at Target a long time ago. It's so cheap. So you put your bowl on there and it will measure the bowl. See if it's, oh, it reset itself. But if I press that, it gives you the measurement of the bowl, and then there, 5.35 ounces, I believe. Then you press it again, and it will go to 0. So just a little over 341 grams is 3/4 pound. So I got 342, and literally that's just the difference between, I took out a piece like this, and it's 339. So that's how little of a difference it is. So a little bit more date is not going to matter. So I will get rid of my scale and set it back down. So in my pot, I've added the dates, 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I always use Demerara brown sugar, and 1 cup of water. So we're going to let this cook. I'm going to get it boiling and then turn it down. So it's just down about 7 there. And let this cook up. And I've also preheated my oven to 350 degrees. So because these will bake a little bit later once we put the filling in. So our dates are slowly cooking down. I want them to get kind of mushy and thickened up. It's going to turn it down just a little. So I've turned it down to about 4. And then over here, I have added to this bowl, I'll repeat it again, 1.5 cups of oatmeal. I use large flake oats, 1.5 cups of white flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You can see my salt, I always use that pink Himalayan salt, that's why it's pink. 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 cup of brown sugar. So I'm going to stir all this up in the pan, mix it up. Really mixed in. And then I'm going to add in butter until it's like all crumbly. And the amount of butter is 3/4 cup of soft butter, which I have over here. So we'll add that in and stir this up till we have like a nice crumble. So I just added a teaspoon of lemon juice. I just used store-bought to the dates, and they are just about ready. I mixed up my crumbly mixture and I pressed it in a pan. I lightly oiled the pan. The recipe didn't call for it, but I just did. It just makes more sense to me that very lightly, not that it's going to have any integrity on the date square, There's very little bit of oil. It was just to make it easier when you go to cut them and remove them from the pan. So I took half of the crumble, that's what it looked like, pressed it in the pan. I'm about to spread this date filling on top of that layer of crumble. So this is what it looks like. So it's still really hot. So I'm gonna just spread it around. You know, quite honestly, I don't think while I love date squares, I think I've only baked them one other time, but I love them. And they are so easy to make. And as far as cakes and desserts go, I think this is up there with one of the a bit healthier one other than the sugar content. It's got some things like the dates in here that are pretty good for you. So if you have little children around, this might be a dessert, and you want to serve them a dessert, this might be one that they would like. So I'm just going to evenly spread this filling all over the bottom layer that was pressed into the pan. I think that's pretty good. Make sure it's covered all the way. There we go. And then I'm going to take the, I'm just making sure it goes to all the corners and sides of the date square. So when you cut a piece, you want to make sure you get some dates. Okay, then I'm going to crumble on top the remaining of the crumbly mixture. Now, I'm not sure if this pan is 8 by 8 or 9 by 9, and that's something I have never concerned myself with when they've said put in an 8 by 8 or 9 by 9. As far as I'm concerned, if it's an inch smaller, then you get bigger pieces, you know? I think this is 9 by 9, but I don't know. And all the years I've done baking, it hasn't seemed to matter one little bit. Now, as you can see, this is really piling on top of here, but I'm going to press it down once I get it all dumped on top here. There we go. I'll just use my hands to gently pat that down. And then it needs to bake in that 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes, and you'll know because the top will be all brown and crispy-ish looking. Yeah, you'll know when it's done. So just pat it around, make it quite compact. Like, I'm not pushing hard, but I'm just making sure that these are not really loose crumbs. And I have to say, while I'm doing this, I love this island. I never thought, because it's not a big kitchen island, it's just this little guy, but I absolutely love it for cooking on, and I don't know why, it just makes, I guess it just gives you that additional counter space. And although it's a small island, I highly recommend, if you want one, to go get one. I got this one at IKEA, and it's got a couple of shelves there. And Richard made a leftover tile. He made put felts in the bottom, so it's like a heating thing when you want to put something hot on the counter. And then we have that tray for cheeses and stuff, and the counter here. And I think you can cut on here, but I don't want to. So I keep my cutting board here, and I usually have those vegetables there sitting in the corner. So if I need to cut an onion, it's just so handy. I love it. Okay, so this is ready to pop into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. So this was 20 minutes in the oven, maybe 22, and it's just about cooling now. So I'm going to let it cool for about 15 minutes, and I'm just going to slice into it so I can show you what it looks like. And while it was cooling, I baked some cookies, some oatmeal raisin cookies. I had a few of these bags left over from our Christmas sale. And you just add butter and eggs, and this one is colorful candy cookies, and that one's chunky chocolate. So I'm going to bake both of these. They're so easy. You just dump it in a bowl, add the egg, add the butter, stir them up, put them on the pan. So I'm making all these cookies up, so that we have a lot of treats for when the kids go to Drumheller. And Richard loves oatmeal raisins, so half of these we'll take with us on our trip. So yeah, get lots of bacon done today. So I'm going to slice into this date square, see how it looks. It's kind of hard to get the first one out of the pan without demolishing it. But you can see the rich dates in there. And this is quite firm. So I'm going to taste it. And I would recommend probably letting this cool a little bit longer. Just to make it a little, oh no, they're pretty good. So can you see the date squares? The dates, I mean. Put this in my mouth. That's really good. Very good. So give this old-fashioned date square recipe a try. I'm sure your family will love them. And thanks for watching. Bye.